But let's address this question about showing the underlying affidavit that was filed to get the warrant. Why don't you do this if you are the DOJ? Well, we don't know exactly their reasons, but we know. Let's just start with the most generic reason. And for that, we can't go to Fox Business News, of course, but let's go to one of these left-leaning shows, that being Fox and Friends in the morning. Here is Steve Doocy, of all people, explaining to a sitting senator why you don't release the underlying affidavit in this instance.
Merrick Garland refuses to cooperate in releasing all the information necessary to understand what happened.
Well, the senator knows that in a criminal investigation like this, they don't release it until they've figured out whether or not somebody's going to be charged or not. And if they're not charged, they don't release it so that they do not unfairly tarnish the reputation of an innocent person.
There you go. Listen, when Steve Doocy has to school you on these things, you know you have a problem.
And these are not things that Republicans don't know. It's just like procedural things that they're used to make, a talking point for the day. Further,
the Justice Department, in making their case to keep the affidavit private in federal court in Southern Florida, because the Times and other news organizations want to make the public, the affidavit public. They said that its release would, quote, compromise future investigative steps and, quote, likely chill cooperation with witnesses. So they are essentially hinting at what I think most people had concluded was that there's somebody within the Trump organization, at least an individual within the Trump organization, or Mar-A-Lago. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's, I mean, if it's just somebody who works like, as a waiter or behind the bar or bar back or something like this, and they saw these documents, there's a real problem here, right? People get that these documents were unsecured enough so that like somebody working at Mar-A-Lago stumbled across them.
You just put that McDonald's bag on top of those boxes over there.
Or it's someone within his family or somebody who works for him who has access and knowledge of these, hidden 12 boxes. And remember, they gave 15 up earlier and then they kept another set. Always have two sets. You give them the dummies and then the dummies walk away and you keep the goodies.
I thought you meant all of the 13 that we gave you back.
And if it's compromising a continuing investigation, it suggests that whatever sources they've been using, there's more stuff. And releasing the affidavit could harm other high-profile investigations as well. We don't know if those investigations deal with people like Giuliani or associates or, I don't know, Devin Nunes or what? I mean, we could speculate. Like, why did Trump keep these things? It could be just because he was sentimental. Could be because he forgot. I mean, put aside just the question as to whether or not they were unclassified or whether he was allowed to take, like, why did he keep these boxes? I don't think Donald Trump would sell them, do you? Or use them as some type of like insurance policy so he didn't get charged with something, or?
I'm sure there's a reasonable answer.
But if he was going to sell them, if he was going to use them as some type of like insurance policy, there would other people would be involved, and maybe the investigations are on that. So, but I don't know. Maybe we need to let the temperature down, or bad things could happen.